Hi, I'm Fang. I am an author and illustrator of such books as Dim Sum Palace. We Are Definitely Human. And I have a new book coming out. It's called Broken. It is about a little girl who accidentally breaks her grandmother's cup, but when the cat gets blamed for it, the little girl has to work through feelings of guilt and decide on how to do the right thing. It is a funny story. It is a story that grapples with all kinds of big feelings, and I hope you check it out when it comes out in October. Today, I'm gonna draw for you in the studio spotlight, one of the main characters, which is this cat named Mimi. So now I'm gonna shift everything over and do an overhead view of my drawing station. Okay, so here we have my drawing pad. I usually draw with pencil on paper, scan it, and color things digitally. Now, the tools that I love to use is Tombow Mono pencil and Blackwing matte pencil. For the Tombow, I usually work within the 2B to 4B range, and then my trusty eraser. I erase a lot. Before I do final drawing, I sketch things on marker paper. I like the way marker paper feels. It's pretty forgiving, so I can do a lot of erasing as I'm figuring out compositions, and the paper always holds up very well. I've already drawn Mimi, our cat character, on a piece of marker paper already, and so I'm just gonna transfer it onto my drawing paper with this graphite transfer paper. So I'm going to put that down and go over it with something a little bit harder. So I'm going to use a pen. So I'll just go through here, quickly do the outline of Mimi, just to transfer it onto my final drawing paper. I have that right there. And that. Right there. And now let's work on her feet, her nose, mouth, chin, eyes, freckles, just little mark where her stripes will be, just so I have a reminder of where I want to put it on the final drawing paper. Okay, so I've transferred that onto my paper. It's very faint, but I'm sure you can still see it. And for Broken, this is the first book that I put down just a layer of charcoal as a base layer, and I use this graphite stick. It's a 6B graphite stick, and I love the way it feels against paper. I'm very drawn to texture, and so a lot of what I do involves adding layers and layers of texture that readers may or may not notice, but it's very fun for me, and so I add it even if people don't know how many layers go into a drawing, but it's fun for me. I'm just adding some color, just a layer of charcoal down. And it also lets me put down a layer for the shadows before I start going in with a more refined pencil detailing. So I'm doing that. Let's put some body. So let's add some darker shading here because this foot is in the back. Some darker shading here, darker shading here, darker shading in the belly because it's in shadow, darker shading here. All right, so now we have like a good base for our drawing. Let me erase this smudge. And then I'm gonna go in and start really working it. So here, I'm gonna go back in and really refine the line work that I made with the transfer paper. I'm doing shorter strokes because it's nice Mimi is a cat, so cats are furry. So this is like a great way to, again, add more movement and texture to our character. Like that. Let's focus on Mimi's face for a minute. And so I'm gonna color in her ears. Some of you may notice that I'm starting with a 2B pencil, and I slowly work my way up to more of the darker, softer pencils after that. But I wanna first start with a not so soft, not so dark pencil. And so I can just add in more darkness as I go on. Mouth, her little freckles, her little double chin. Mimi has stripes here, 3 stripes there. She has 3 stripes on her side. Just color that in. I actually don't have cats. I'm a dog person. I'm mildly allergic to cats, but I felt like it was very fitting to have Mimi be a cat character because what the cat gets up to, or what the cat is being accused of in the book, seems like very cat behavior. And so I stand by my decision. I know some people will want to argue with me about the reputation of cats, but I stand by my choice in main character. But I have a lot of friends who have cats, and so I usually hear about all the crazy cat shenanigans that happen in their household. And so it's not completely fictional what this cat gets into. So just want you guys to know I have done research regarding the character of cats. So here we have gone through and given Mimi some stripes. All right, so now I'm gonna actually add in more shading. I feel like most of my drawings feels more like I'm just coloring, and maybe I am just coloring a little bit. But I'm coloring not with colored pencils, but with graphite pencils. So I'm pretty loose with how I hold my pencil, and I like seeing the pencil markings. And so I don't blend. I'm not very delicate about how my pencil markings are. They're pretty rough, and it's because that is the kind of texture that I'm more drawn to. Actually seeing the physical hand of the drawer, the artist, is something that I've always been really drawn to, and so I like to continue that with my work. So I'm just gonna get to the feet. Mimi has white socks, like white paws, so we're not gonna extend the pencil down much further past her paws. And then she has a white tip on her tail as well. And then, so I'll add that. Hopefully this isn't completely boring to watch. But I don't know, sometimes people like watching videos of drawings. It's very relaxing. I wish I had a more relaxing, calming voice. So maybe I could be your go-to relaxation video before bed, like a yoga nidra. But it's me drawing cats. All right, so now I have that. I'm gonna move on to a darker pencil, my 4B, and actually go in and add some more darker line work. Mimi's nose, make her ears a little bit more darker, and we can like start defining more of her stripes. Should probably add in where there will be some shadowing in her fur. So it's usually around her undercarriage, areas where there might be some shadowing and folds, like this cat's double chin. Cats have double chins. They're just like cats, they're just like us. Double chins. All right, I'll put that in there. Stripes, maybe I'll add some more detail here. Base of the tail will probably be a little darker. This hind leg will probably be a bit darker because it's being covered by the front. Adding some areas where there's shadow. Some shadowing here. Mimi has a white belly, so I don't want to add too much shadowing on her underside, even though that's where we would find a lot of darkness and shadowing. Paws. Let's give her stripes a bit more definition so it doesn't get lost in the other shading. So don't want to blather on for too long because I only have 10 minutes for this whole video. Tail. All right. So now I'm gonna go in with my final really dark black wing pencil, and I'll just use it to make more defined markings where it's necessary. I'm gonna add her little whiskers and make some more definition around her face. Okay, so voila, here we have a quick drawing of our cat character in Broken called Mimi. And now I'm gonna scan this, put it on a computer, and show you how I color it digitally. Hello, so here we are. We have our image that has been scanned, and I pulled up Photoshop. And before I start coloring, of course, I have to do some color correction. This is it originally. And then this is me having used curves to adjust the color or the contrast of the drawing. So once I have that, I bring it into another folder that has all of my color layers. And it's very simple. I just add layers and layers of color underneath at varying opacities. I don't use a lot of color, but you create a lot of color just by adding lots of layers at varying opacities. And so here we go, and that is the final drawing, and it's all just like layers of color on top. These are masking layers, and so they mask. It's very simple, nothing fancy, just colors underneath and colors on top, masking layers. All right, and that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you to School Library Journal for inviting me to share my studio with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.